Good afternoon, boys and girls. I am back from Switzerland. A little bit late today because I had an appointment, but just right in time for the news in about 2 minutes. So let's not waste our time and start right away with the news so we can prepare for it. We will have today CB consumer confidence and new home sales. So more news to come today. We already had building permits at 2:10 p.m. my time, which was almost in line, a little bit higher than the expectation, but still lower than the previous months. So let's see if the other numbers are as well better than expected. But the market is already downtrending in the previous days. So it's slowly downtrending, but it is downtrending. As we can see, we are still in this sideways trading phase, but we are now trading at the lows of yesterday. Yesterday, we were able to close above the 20-day EMA level. I will just zoom in a little bit, and then you will see. So the blue line, I will just delete all these white lines. Then you can see it a little bit better. So we were closing above the 20 EMA level here, but we are currently trading below and trying to make new lows here. And if we are able to go below the previous lows from April 13th here, then probably there will be more sell-off and we will have more room to the next lows here from March 28th, which is at 12,635 points. So let's see if the news can trigger this sell-off here. Still waiting for it. And yeah, let's just draw one Fibonacci from the previous high point to the previous low point. Then we will get some more targets to the downside. 12,750 and 12,566 points can be our next target to the downside. So the next one will be 12,750 if we go below the previous lows here. But for sure we will first bounce there. 12,925 points. So just about 60 points below the current level. And the news are out. So let's just see what the news are and see the reaction on a 1 minute time frame here. Then we can see what will happen here. CB consumer confidence lower than expected. Some more signs of a recession here. New home sales a little bit higher than expected. So like the other news from building permits from the housing markets. So no cool down here in the new home sales, even higher than the previous number. But CB consumer confidence low means less pressure on this side here from the inflation. So we will have a look in the inflation here right away. So new home sales 9.6% higher than in the previous months. So yeah, this is a strong sign from the housing market. Therefore, we see this rally back here now to 12,000, to 13,000 right now. But this is a psychological level. So for sure it will be retested here from the lower side. And let's see if we can defend this downtrend here, indicated with parabolic dots. Yeah, let's just wait and let's have a look on a CME FedWatch tool, because the next Federal Reserve meeting is already next week, Wednesday, in 8 days. So we will have probably a 25 basis points rate hike here. This is what the market is expecting at the moment. 83% for 25 basis points move, so almost no change from the previous week. As you can see, the previous week we had 82% or even 90% yesterday. So it's still above the 80% expectancy. And for the next Federal Reserve meetings, the expectancies are still the same, staying here at 5.25. But there was a change for the next meetings here in September until December. So we are expecting lower interest rates right now, 4.5% for December, and then further lower rates here during 2024. So I'm still in my short position. As you can see here, I have on several accounts in total 27 short micro Nasdaq futures, and I can profit from the falling prices. Yes, it takes time. I'm a swing trader, you know it. So therefore I have to wait for further dips here. But I'm prepared to take on more shorts when I see that some certain levels are broken and I see more short potential here. The same for the stocks. So if we go to our Tesla, we were talking about this and I was talking about the open gap here several times. So we still have room and potential back to 145, but for sure this 155 to 157 is a bounce potential here, because this is the beginning of the gap area here and the 50% Fibonacci retracement from the previous high point. Therefore, normally we see a little bit of a hold here, little support, and then as soon as we go into the open gap, then we should see a close of this gap within 2 or 3 trading days. So I have no position in Tesla, but I have still a short opinion on Tesla. We were talking about the earnings in the previous week. Earnings were taken bad. The stock lost 10% after the earnings, and there was a lower price for Model X, S, and Y, because Elon Musk wants to hold the shares, the market share of Tesla as a brand, but therefore is accepting lower prices for selling more vehicles. Yeah, let's see if this is a good strategy. I think yes, it is, but of course the market was a little bit in fear that they will earn less money. The same for, yes, I have a position in Nvidia. So we were talking about this in the previous live streams. Here you see a weekly chart, and you see this is the 5th consecutive week we are not able to go above 280. So for sure it is a big resistance. We were talking about this in previous live streams. Resistance area between 277 and 290. So we tried 4 consecutive weeks to go into. This is the 5th week. And yeah, it's a sign of weakness, so it's not really weak, but overall, if the market will sell off, then probably Nvidia will as well go down. I bought 230 strike puts, so I have long puts at the moment. I paid $4.45 for June expiry, and my expectancy is that we will go here back into the 220 area where the previous low point from March 13th was, and if we can sell below, then $200 would be my main target. Let's see if this can happen in the next 4 weeks, and if not, I can still sell my puts and buy further out in time new long puts. Then we can have a look at DAX. It's also interesting because it's still strong. Look at this. This is the 6th consecutive week we have higher prices here. Yes, it's a little bit weak this week, but it's just the 2nd trading day of this week. And you see we are struggling a little bit here right below the 16,000 points level. 15,955 points was a high point from yesterday, but the June future was already trading above 16,000. So yes, I would say we are at a psychological level already, but we still have a little bit room until the previous all-time highs here back from January 2022. So still 300 points to go to the upside. Let's see if this can happen in the next months in May. And if not, so probably we will see a sell-off near 16,000, 16,300. This is an important area for German DAX 40. Then let's have a look at TLT. So the bonds, you see the rising prices here, which means that the market is currently expecting lower interest rate levels. So yeah, we are still in the sideways trading phase here, but as soon as we go above 109, so probably we will see more expectancies to the switch to lower interest rate levels here. Then to our wicks. So the volatility index was going a little bit higher in the previous 4 trading days. As you can see, I opened here at 16.5. Ratio backspread. It's an option position profiting from higher levels of wicks. So I'm expecting the fear to come back into the market when we see a sell-off in the stock market. And I bought 22 strike calls and sold a 16 strike call, both in June. So I'm expecting the volatility to come back into this 22, 24 area maybe. And if we see more, then maybe back into the 30 area where we were mid-March. So this can be interesting as a trade, but like always, no investment advice. You have to do your own due diligence. It's just what I am trading, and the rest here, the whole stream is just for entertainment purposes. Let's see the important levels for some commodities. Natural gas. Natural gas is pretty interesting. So May future is expiring this week, so we have to go on June, but just want to show the important levels here. It's just sideways trading now, but in the previous week we had high points at $2.38. So 240 is the next resistance level, but we can probably see a 50% retracement, so back into the $2.55 area in the next trading days. So I'm still expecting natural gas to go to the upside, but it will probably take more time than we needed here for this sell-off from $3.15 back to the $2 area here. I sold a $1.80 strike put, so I can even profit when the prices are just going sideways because time is in my favor here. Crude oil is also interesting. We talked about it in the previous streams. So the gap is almost closed here. I'm already showing June future here, but you see the Fibonacci level is sitting here at $76. So where the gap is almost closed. And yeah, we almost touched it, just a few cents missing here to close this gap or to go back to the next Fibonacci level. And it was an interesting point to sell here at $83. And I have still a short opinion for crude oil because I believe the market will go down in a recession and therefore crude oil prices should tank as well. So there is even more potential below the 76, but I'm expecting a smaller bounce when we close this gap or are trading at around $76 for crude oil future. Euro US dollar, also interesting. Just show it again. Yesterday we had a big push and I was saying where the hell is this coming from, because the markets were dipping, but euro was strong and US dollar was weak, so we went back to 110.50. Today we went even higher, back to 110.67, almost to the previous high points, just to sell off today half a percentage point. So we are still in this uptrend. I'm still in this short position, so I'm making my profits back now, but I gave back almost all my profits. But I'm still profiting in this trade. This is the interesting thing, because I'm long US dollar and short euro. I can profit from the interest rate difference. So the interest rate in the Eurozone is 3.5%, but in the US it's 5%. So there's 1.5% difference in interest rate, and I am paid this difference day by day when I have a long position in US dollar and a short position in the euro. So I can make money just by the rate here going sideways, but if it's dipping here, I will make more profits, and my target will be here this Fibonacci level 108.6, and maybe we can even go back to 108. Let's see if I can take half the profits out there and hold the rest until 108. But there's even potential for a 1-to-1 ratio if we can go into a deeper recession. So you see here, this was a major support, and it will probably act as a support again around or just above the 105 level. But 1-to-1 parity is possible if we go into a recession, and I'm expecting this to happen in the next 1 or 2 quarters this year. So probably we will see more downside potential as soon as this uptrend is breaking. And remember, the US dollar is an early indicator for the stock market. So if we see that the US dollar is gaining traction here and is going stronger against the euro and other currencies, then probably this is an early indicator for the stock market overall. The same for our gold price. So here we see June future gold price, it's just going sideways. But as soon as the gold price is dipping, then probably we will see that there is a recession incoming. And when the US dollar is getting stronger, then gold will struggle, because in a foreign currency you will have to pay more for getting the same amount of gold. And therefore there will be less demand for gold, and therefore the prices will probably struggle to the downside. Yeah, we have talked about the other stocks here. Let's see some other commodities I'm currently looking at. This is sugar. So May future is expiring soon, so we have to look at the next one in the next stream. But right now we are trading right below the highs of 26. No sign of a reversal right now. We are still making higher highs. As you can see, we had big movements in the previous 4 trading days here. Yeah, it will be interesting to see where the turning point for sugar will be. The implied volatility in the options is already high, so I opened a short call with a 30 strike. Maybe a little bit too early. I could get better prices today. I opened it on Friday afternoon, but today I would get better prices. Let's see if I can get more into this position if we see higher levels again. But if not, and if it's just going sideways into stage 2 of a reversal sideways trading phase, then I can also make money with a short call, and especially because I sold with a high implied volatility here. Yeah, still waiting for the short to come here in the sugar prices. The same for orange juice. It's about the same like with sugar. You see, we had a turning point to the downside, but this was just a sideways trading phase here. So between 265 and the same to the upside 280, we are just sideways trading, probably retesting 280 and then see if it's again trading to the downside. But as long as we are in this channel, it's not really interesting to take on a directional trade, as well as not trading it with options, because it's really illiquid. So there's not a big liquidity in the orange juice options, and therefore I'm not trading it with options right now, just having it on my watch list to take on a trade as soon as we break below 265 cents to the downside. Yeah, this is the interesting thing. First Republic, I was still on my watch list. Why? Because we had earnings yesterday after market closed. So this was interesting to see, because while the market was open, we made highs here outside of the trading range, and it was a false breakout. Right after the market closed, we made new lows here and are trading lower today, 28%. So a lot of stop losses were triggered. And I'm curious how this stock will perform in the next weeks and months. So I would trade it to the long side again if we touch right above the $10 area, because I believe that still a lot of dip buyers want to buy the stock and want to ride it to the upside. So there's a 40-50% potential if we go to the $10 area. Let's see. It's on my watch list and I'm waiting for taking a position. Implied volatility is high. It's also interesting to sell some puts. You will have less risk compared to buying the stock. But yeah, there's still a risk that this bank is taken off the market, of the stock market, and just sold to other banks for a small penny price. And therefore it's a high risk here, but it's on my watch list to be taken as a long trade here or just with a short put. I still like the implied volatility and the movement of First Republic Bank here. Can you look at AGQ? AGQ, don't know what this is, but let's have a look at AGQ. ProShares Ultra Silver. Okay. I haven't traded silver for a long time, but let's have a look at silver. So this is about the same like gold, because silver is the smaller brother of gold, but the movements are often higher than with gold. You can see here the previous up run here was about 28.5%. So this is more than gold made, but if we break to the low side, then this will also be more than the falling in gold. And we are already making lower lows here, as you can see. The problem with the silver ETFs is that there is a rollover cost, because you are currently long in the futures in the 2 front months of silver futures. And if we are trading in a contango situation, then you will have to pay more for the next front month. So these ETFs are always losing when there's a rollover in the future market, and therefore I would never hold this long in the long run and trade it to the long side. But for shorting, it can be interesting here. And yeah, it's establishing a short trend. So we are making lower lows. So this could be the lower high point here, and maybe the first sign of a downturn here. But I would wait for the closing of this week and then see what is happening here. Yeah, you see it's still a higher high, but maybe it was just a false breakout and then it's turning to the downside again. Just using my Fibonacci retracement like always. Previous high point, previous low point, and then see the next interesting levels. We are currently trading at an important support level, but the next one is sitting here at $30.60 and $29. So these ones can be interesting target points. Or I'm not catching this. Come on. So you will have a 6.5% and about an 11.5% potential. So 50% Fibonacci retracement is what we see really often, like we have seen the last time here. So previous high point, previous low point. So here we had an even bigger correction, as you can see, back to the 76.4% retracement, and then a new rally started here. So 50% would be my minimum target, and yeah, I have no position in silver, of course, but my opinion is short, like with gold. Yeah, there's more potential than the 50% Fibonacci, I think. So maybe 27, and even the lower levels here between 25 and 26 could be interesting. We were trading there for several weeks and had important high points. So 26 would be an interesting target here for a silver gold trade. Do you trade earnings like Google, Microsoft, any strategies you use with options? No, I'm not trading the earnings itself, but I'm often trading post-earnings trades. So I'm waiting for the earnings, and then on the next trading day, I'm looking at the movements of the stock. So there I have often lower implied volatility, but when the company misses the earnings expectation, or they will give a bad outlook, then I can use the higher implied volatility to sell even better and lower strikes for puts. So I can earn more premium and I will have less risk because the stock will already have dropped, and I can go lower with the strike and will get more premium. So it is a plus trade. I will have a lot of opportunities if we see misses in the earnings and having a worse than expected outlook, and then the stock dropping with higher implied volatility post earnings, so the next trading days after the earnings were published after hours. So this is what I like to trade in the earnings season, but I'm not trading the earnings itself because it's often too risky, and you never know if the implied volatility is priced in correctly by the market participants. What do you think about Visa? Earnings are today, but consumer confidence is down. What does the wizard Pascal think? So at first I'm not a wizard, but of course we can look at Visa. Just my opinion before I'm bringing up the chart. I believe that we will go in a recession, and therefore a lot of credit card debt will fall out, and this will be a problem for Visa, and they will have to take this into account, and therefore they will probably give a not so good outlook. So they were earning a lot with the higher interest rates in the previous weeks and months, but this will also be their problem because the consumer card spending will slow down with a recession, and this together with more debt that is not repaid is a problem for the credit card companies, because they will have to take care of this and therefore set money aside for all this debt which isn't repaid. And you already see in the previous trading days we are just trading sideways, so it's a little bit looking like this Nvidia stock chart. So let's see this on a weekly time frame, and you see this could be a double top here. So it's an interesting chart pattern here. It's still uptrending, it's still strong, but this is a first sign of weakness, because in the previous week you can see this doji here, almost no candle body, but a big wick on the up and down side. And we have seen this the previous time here. You see this was a doji on the upper side indicating a downtrend. So this time it can be the same, double top and indicating the beginning of a downtrend. So I would be cautious and I wouldn't trade it to the long side over earnings. I'm expecting the profits to go down for Visa in the next quarters, and therefore I would be cautious trading it to the long side, rather taking short trades here. We can have a look at the implied volatility. A lot of implied volatility, so are low. I'm sorry, this was the wrong one. I wanted to have this one. And therefore it's cheap to buy puts. So buying puts, going on the long option side, is not really expensive right now. Even if we are right before the earnings, you can still buy cheap puts. And if the market is under expecting what we will see as the outcome, then you can still make money over the earnings with a long put. So what is interesting as a put level? Let's see the current high point here and maybe the previous low point here. So we rallied from previous September until today was a rally of about 33%. Next target would be around the $220 area. You can see this was a previous high point as well. There's sitting a Fibonacci level, $212, and the 50% Fibonacci is sitting right into this big sideways trading zone here at $205. So there's a lot of downside potential here, about 8% and 11% to the downside. So I would look for maybe a 212, 213 strike here to catch this one if we go back to this Fibonacci retracement. But aiming at 205 is an interesting level if you want to take on a directional trade to the short side here. And I would trade it with a long put. So I would not lose if the market wants to see higher levels and is pushing up the prices after the earnings here. So what's the current price for a long put? Let's just see for Visa. Bring this up here. Visa, and see the prices. So I would always trade 60 to 80 days until expiration. This is 52 is a little bit too short. Yes, you can also trade June, but maybe July is the better one. There's not a lot of open interest. So yeah, I would trade June probably 52 days, but do not hold it too long. Sell it minimum 20 days before expiration. And then let's look between delta 30 and 40. To the downside for puts, so this would be around 225 and 230 strikes. You will have to pay between $450 and $610 per option, so this would be a $450 investment or $610 investment for buying these. 225 and 235, 225 and 230. Let's see, 225 and 230. So this would be near the money. 225 is probably more interesting. It's an interesting level. And if we want to take less risk and pay less, you can also buy just the far out of the money puts here at 212, 213. Let's see just the probability the market is currently expecting for this. 212, we have 215. So this is about $2.40. Current expectancy of the market is delta 19. So a 19% probability that we will trade below 215 on the expiration June 16th. So, but I'm expecting the market is underestimating the probabilities here because the implied volatilities are too low. And if we see a bad outcome of the earnings and a bad outlook especially, then this stock can just tank. And therefore, it's interesting to trade this one to the downside and to buy maybe some puts here and being on the long put side and being an option buyer. So you have a defined risk to the upside if the stock is going to higher levels. Okay, I think we have gone through all major levels. Just let's see one last time. Nasdaq here, still trading lower perfectly. It's what I wanted to see. So we were rejected here by the parabolic. And we are testing right now the previous low points, 12,925. So just sitting 10 points above the previous lows on a daily time frame here. Yeah, you see this was the previous low point, 12,925. Current low, 12,937. Just 12 points above. And this will be probably a retest, bounce back, and then on the next attempt pushing below. Let's see. It will be important to close below the 9 and 20 EMA, so closing below both. And we had already this early indication here with parabolic and the crossing of ADX. So we have to wait for getting a stronger sign of a trend. So the red line must show here above 20. But it's looking good for now for this break to the downside. But sometimes it takes more days or weeks. It's already the fourth consecutive week in this sideways trading phase. And yeah, this is what needs time, especially as a swing trader. It's nice for day traders to take on short and long trades here in a sideways trading phase. But for now, it's looking good for the bears this time. And yeah, aiming at 12,750 and next target here, 12,567 points. This is what I'm looking for. Let's see if I'm right this time. And we will meet us for the next time with my live stream on, let's just see the news. I have an appointment tomorrow at 2 p.m., but I will be available at 3 p.m. So we will have some news, core durable goods at 2:30 p.m. I will not be able to live stream it, but maybe I can do a live stream for Market Open tomorrow, right after my appointment. Let's see, and I will inform you. So therefore, here, just give me a like for this stream and subscribe to my channel to be informed when I go live next time. And then we will meet us again here at probably the same time for Market Open. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Have some nice profits trading, and we will see us tomorrow again. Goodbye.